Welcome back to the channel, guys. For those of you that are new here, my name is Drew Sims. For the past 8 years, I've been working full-time as a freelance photographer and filmmaker. You guys have seen me on this channel with a few rigs in the past. I lived on the road for 4 years out of a 4x4 and a rooftop tent. Now I've got a truck camper set up that I took up to Alaska for 4 months. But today I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm out on the Oregon coast, going to be doing a week road trip starting on the west side of Oregon to the interior and finally finishing off on the eastern desert side to hopefully capture a meteor shower that's going to be going on throughout the whole week. Gonna rip around the dunes a bit more this afternoon, head to a campsite down the beach, and then start making my way towards eastern Oregon.
After an afternoon exploring the dunes, I headed down the coastline and took advantage of the moody weather, setting up camp early and getting a fire going. I spent some time later that evening going over some of my favorite images from the day.
All right, good morning guys. Just woke up from my second night sleeping out of the rooftop tent. It's been really nice. It's been a very, very long time since I've woken up in a rooftop tent, and I forgot how nice it is just to pop the windows, stay in your sleeping bag, and just look out at the landscape. One thing I was a little worried about camping out of this setup and having all of my camera gear and drone batteries and laptop was that I'm not gonna have my dual lithium battery setup that I have on my truck camper. But the fact that this is a hybrid, it has a ton of power in it, multiple 45 watt USB-C outlets, a couple 120 AC outlets as well. Really convenient. I think just makes camping less of a headache for a lot of people. So I definitely see the appeal of the hybrid just for having that onboard power source. As much as I don't want to leave this spot, I think I'm going to start packing up, get the tent in, get all the camping gear back in the 4Runner, and start making my way towards Bend.
A quick detour on the way to camp led me back to one of my favorite waterfalls in Oregon. All right, made it to camp for the night. Another insanely fun afternoon shooting this 4Runner. I've honestly been enjoying driving this way more than I thought I would. It's super comfortable off-road. You guys saw this little hill climb that it took to get to this spot. Using crawl control on this honestly feels like a cheat code for overlanding. You literally just put it in 4 low, engage crawl control, and then select the intensity of crawl control, and foot off the gas, foot off the brake, the thing just literally crawls up the entire hill. Really not much work on my end. I think that's one of the most impressive features so far of this. I also want to touch on this lighting setup back here. The vehicle's off. These are running just off the battery. And since this is a hybrid, you really don't have to worry too much about running these. And yeah, these are just built in. Great lighting setup for cooking back here, for using this as a prep station. That's always such a huge thing when trying to cook outside. Not wanting to run a headlamp the whole time, but have some ambient lighting to see all of your gear. Just another thing I'm impressed with this 4Runner. So we're gonna get dinner going, chill by the fire, and just enjoy the rest of the night. After a beautiful night in Sisters, I headed east and found myself waking up in one of my favorite camp spots of the entire trip. After a full day exploring the Leslie Gulch area, I headed deep into the canyon to meet up with my buddy Aiden. Bison steaks in hand, clear skies, and a meteor shower in the forecast, I knew we were in for a good night of camping.
What is that?
Big thanks again to Toyota and Gear Patrol for making this trip possible.